Hello everybody, how y'all doing? I'm kind of excited to make this video, this live. I think it's gonna be interesting, even though I have a suspicion many wouldn't click on a title that names an African country. No offense, Africa. I think you deserve a lot more interest than what you get, so I disagree with that, but just a hint. So I think you guys should fix it by sharing, and welcome to the live stream. Subscribe to Patreon, follow Rebecca on Instagram and Twitter, hit the thumbs up, it recommends the channel to more people. Thank you. Yes, so like it right away and share it so that we would have people joining in. And I hope it started when I actually started talking so that I wasn't cut off. So everybody that's here, please like. Hello, Jax. How you all doing? Hi. Hello, Book Mouse. How you doing? Hello. So I'm gonna wait a little bit for the stream to pick up before I go. But I'm gonna tell you what the plan is. So I saw this video that was made by Khan. So it's gonna be in Hebrew, but I hope the subtitles work well. And of course I'm gonna translate it, and it's just a 5-minute video. It's not too long. And the title was The Eighth Front. The country Iran is nurturing as a new enemy of Israel in our neighborhood. And that's a video about Sudan. And the history that Israel has with Sudan is actually very interesting, especially with everything that has to do with South Sudan, that used to be part of Sudan. All right, let me go through, see who is here while we are waiting for people to join. Don't forget to like and share now, guys. Let's get this conversation going. Hi, Tag Mechir Tzedek. Apachik, that Jewish guy in the chat, is showing his high-class attendance and straight A's. Southern Sudan is an ally of Israel. Indeed. Indeed it is. All right. Theo's here. I'm gonna wait like a minute more before I start. So yes. Let me see how many likes we have thus far. Yeah, it looks like most of you liked it. Thank you. Continue like this. Sudan has some good food. I've never actually had any Sudanese food before, so that sounds interesting. Wayne, Sudan is nowhere near us in the UK. It's not that far either. I mean, look at India is farther away, and Pakistan is farther, and Afghanistan is even farther away, I think. Let me check, actually, the map. I think all those countries are farther away than Sudan is. And still they managed to get... Or is it further, or is it about the same distance? Nah, probably the same distance. No, actually. What do I think about the Telegram founder arrest? He was arrested and released. So it was probably threatened in some manner to try to get him to cooperate with something, and then got released. Hello. Shoshana, Israel and Sudan were supposed to exchange an embassy. Yes, this video is going to talk about it. 4 years ago. Seems like the relations were getting normalized, but Sudan is not an ally of Israel. They are 91% Muslim and quite anti-Semitic, and they have a tendency to genocide every once in a while. And I feel like in principle, those are kind of bad friends to have. Like, I know people are claiming that we are being the ones that are doing mass massacres, but no, we are not. Sudan is actually doing it, and that is actually not okay. Okay, so everybody who's joined, like this video so it will be visible to people so that they would join, because I do think it's an important conversation to have about Sudan, and I brought up many cool stories for you. Oh, what are you saying? I didn't know he was released. They're hunting for Tommy now too. I saw that they're hunting Tommy now. Can you, is there any, while we are waiting for more people to join, can anybody update us real quick about what does it mean that they are hunting Tommy? Isn't he in a UK? So it should be easy to hunt down. So, or did he escape somewhere? Because last time I heard from him, he was with his family, with his children. Okay. Check that Jewish guy in the chat. Sudan was run by National Islamic Front for decades. Oh, Tom. Sudan is ripping itself by Islam factions. 80 million people are going to starve. Are Sudanese Semitic? No. No. Only the Semitic ones, some of the Ethiopians are Semitic, but not all of them. Yeah. And I think maybe some of the Somalis too, but not Sudan. Sudan wants to kill all Jews in Ethiopia. There aren't really any Jews left in Ethiopia that are halakhitic Jews, but I think there are communities there that are returning to Judaism. So their status is in like, where, I don't know, I guess they're waiting for them to get, I'm not that much on it. Charlie Lemoyne, Tommy is hunted down in the Anglosphere, Canada included. Somebody says Tommy is out of the UK right now. So what? Where is he? No, still not back in UK. They want to persecute again for exposing the corruption and seriously. All right, guys. It's out. I'm diverting out of topic just a little bit, since I still want more people to join in before I start. And I'm gonna, so please like, share this video. I want to say something about that. So are there any Brits here? If there are, go to the jury system, check who the judges, and go protest. Like you protest against the government, go protest against the jury. Go protest against their decisions. I mean, they're being political, then they should be held accountable to the public. So go. It works. Amazingly, it works. Israeli jurisdictional system is also completely awful. And yet, when Israelis figured that out, and it took them some time, and now they're starting to show up at courts and protest, suddenly the jury is starting acting normal. Suddenly they're lining up. Suddenly it does make a difference. So try to hold your judges accountable, like as a society. Take action. If you're all gonna be silent and nobody's gonna take action, and that doesn't make sense. "40 watching, only 11 likes." Yeah, that's not cool. But my info says that there are 38 likes. Yeah, I ended up in royal court in 12/12, got cancelled. I mean, yeah. start acting. Like, yeah, some of you are gonna pay price, but if you not act now, you know, it's gonna get worse. Pathetic. UK, Tom is in Spain, but the UK government has invoked a court order in relation to a contempt of court charge, which stems from an original contempt charge that was overturned. What is contempt? Contempt is like that relation to. Is it like insulting a court? Is that like what it means in translated to simple English? Yeah, I saw this. I saw Meyer Tusimid in it. The UK is in mess for sure. They arrested an 11-year-old today, I think. Yes, it's insane. But I don't know. Are there any Brits here? I don't want to talk about Brits without having Brits here. Tommy should seek political asylum in Israel or in the United States. It's so sad though. I think Douglas Murray is technically in the United States right now. It's not that I don't want Tommy in Israel. It's just that I think that if he's in Israel, then maybe it's gonna be harder for him to continue have the same influence he has. Sorry, I'm gonna turn that off. Here. I'm a Brit, but not a good example. You guys Brits, speak up. I also made several videos about Britain. I have a playlist about Great Britain now. Get the hint, right? There is a reason I compared your situation to what was happening in India and in Israel. Because I want you to go and study how Israel managed to build up and defend itself, how the Jewish community, for example, managed to defend itself in Israel, even though they were under the supervision of them, under the, magnifying glass of the British government trying to prevent them from doing anything. And fish, not a Brit, but in the UK. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about people who believe in freedom of speech and that, people who deserve jail should go to jail and that immigrants shouldn't be flooding the country. I'm a Brit and I have watched this overturning of our laws for 30 years. That's the problem. Why were you watching it? I mean, UK disrespecting its children. I'm sorry. Like, the British people have to decide. It's not gonna be, it means they're gonna have to sacrifice themselves now for themselves and their children for the future. Because if you're gonna get another million immigrants, that's it. That's a tipping point that would force you in a path that would split. I don't know. All right, let me see if we can start already. I think we should start. So yes, everybody who is here, share. Yeah, there are not that many viewers. Usually I have more, I'm not gonna lie. But I guess I kind of expected it when I chose the topic to be about Sudan. Which kind of sad to me, if you ask me. People should be more interested in things. Yes, I'm judging my crowd. I mean, not all of you that are here, but in general. All right. I would more compare Britain to Lebanon, a naive and kind population welcoming a snake into the garden. No, I wouldn't compare Britain to Lebanon, to be honest. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's the same. I don't really think it's the same because yeah, I just don't. It's not the same. I'm sorry, it's just not. Usually there are 100 million, thousand billion viewers, but we don't know what happened today. Yeah, yeah, me neither. Like I'm just, No, there. It says there are 66 viewers now. Hmm, not amazing. Mahul Mana, the Brits are working up on. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, but most basic thing, you have to start defending your neighborhoods and build up from there. Also, go protest the in the court, because if the jury is political, I think you should have the right to protest their decisions. So this could you explain your thinking some more? I'm interested. Can you please elaborate? What do you mean when you say my thinking? Sheikh Yama, I feel like Lebanon was more aware of the jihadi problem than the semi-naive Brits. Lebanon was ethnically an ethnic problem from the get-go. And it's part of the Middle East, and their invite and support of the Palestinians came out of, I'm sorry, I have no better way to say it. It's anti-Semitism, 100%. They supported snakes because they hated the Jews that much, and they hated Israel. And to this day, I've met many people from all kind of Arab lands, and the Lebanese are the most extreme. You can't even take a photo with them. They wouldn't share a photo or anything where they're with Israelis out of fear of persecution, but just in general, like they are the most pathetic bunch that I got to meet. Out of like the Iranians, oh, they are brave men. Like they don't care. And I met Egyptians. The Egyptians are way more open-minded. The Algerians were better. I mean, I'm serious when I say like I got to travel and meet people from everywhere and from the Arab world as well. I'm in Lebanon and actually also Syria. Syria is also like that. But Lebanon is scary. It's scary because they're Christians. Dylan John, I am. Wait, why is it not? One sec. Wow, I saw a video recently saying Lebanese are nice, but Hezbollah are different from No, they're not. I'll tell you what. It's the tactic they're implementing so that they would feel like they won't be targeted as a country. So Israel could easily just remove all the infrastructure of Lebanon, and that would, be the fastest way of finishing up this conflict. And in order to avoid that, they try to pretend like the Lebanon and Hezbollah are not the same thing, when in reality they are 100% intertwined and they're the same. They're just the same. So the reason I say it's not like Lebanon is because Lebanon is way more fragmented, and the hate there is way more ingrained and way more complicated than it is in Britain. In Britain, it's more like it is in Israel and India, because both in Israel and in India, you guys, like all the Arabs here, they were recent immigrants. They were recent immigrants that arrived because the Jews were working the ground and making this area thrive, and it was the most economically, it had the best economy around because all the Jewish, entrepreneurship, And there were many immigrants that came from Arab countries just to claim that they were always there. And just they're gonna do the same to you. Same with India, right? They came from the outside and they became a certain percentage, and it just became impossible to live with them anymore. So Lebanon is not the same way. And Beirut used to be called the Paris of the East. The Lebanon that you're of that generation knows is not the Lebanon of the past before the Islamic. No, they were. Oh, no, 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 man. They've been the same way from the get-go. They've been the same way. I'm sorry, they have been the same way. Always, always like that. From day one. From day one, they were like that. So it's different because you cannot really. It's more. It's from the get-go. It's more diverse. It's more like many groups in the same area, and it's no, but because there are British people. The British people is a thing. Like the Lebanese, the thing is like Lebanon is predominantly Christian, so they got this area, or used to be. But, and yes, Lebanon is like an historic land that was its own territory and like, but, I don't think it's the same as the UK. I'm sorry. The real Lebanese people, the Phoenicians, their culture, it's long gone. It's long gone. What about people like Brigitte Gabriel? Brigitte Gabriel is a very unique story. There are tzadal, like there are people that are like that. But there were Germans that were rescuing Jews. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. In England, what you have is populations with completely different value systems. And then you have those, like you have the Britain. Britain could be like Lebanon if the, I don't know. Actually, I just don't think they're like Lebanon. I'm sorry. So were the Lebanese Christians 50 years ago as hostile to as Jews as Hezbollah? Yes, 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 they were. Question, is Tucker Carlson anti-Semitic? Tucker Carlson is a complete moron. He's so stupid. I don't know. I never heard of him say anything about Jews. I didn't like look into it, but every time I heard him talk about anything at all I could think of is like that his IQ is not very impressive. So I don't torture myself with listening to people like that. All right. There's Carlos Arbia. Patience, not. Why? Unable to deal with tipesh people. Stupid people. Yeah, I cannot. So when it comes to Tucker Carlson, I actually never heard. Like, I saw his interview with I remember I have one video where I comment to Tucker Carlson where he's interviewing the Christian guy from Bethlehem. Yeah. See, they're not this. It's not the same. This is like the way this Christian person is very similar to the way Lebanese Christians are and were. Like they would die and not really It's not. They're just, it's not the same. I'm sorry. The British people are not the same. The Lebanese, none of the factions in Lebanon were ever tolerant or pluralistic, or they're all of them, each and every one of them is racist. I'm sorry, like fundamentally so. And is not, neither of them believe in things like freedom of speech or freedom. None of them do. So no, it's not the same. Hinduism, India, was very pluralistic, and they believed in a lot of things when it comes to that. And they had to fight. This is why you have the whole Hindu continent, which is super diverse, fighting against the Muslims, because they have a completely different mindset. Same with the Israel. But I cannot say that the Christians, the Arab Christians in Lebanon have a completely different mindset than the Muslims in Lebanon. I'm sorry, they don't. They are not as deadly. They're not as active, like they're not actively as violent. But that doesn't mean that their value system is something to be too impressed by. So no. And the Brits are not like that. You guys have a whole history of democracy, and you did have like the inner fight with the Christian sects and things like that. But in the end of the day, you have a whole system and a whole culture and everything that is. You can live together with the Sikhs, you can live together with the Jews, and have one Britain. It's not the same in Lebanon. It's not. The entire Western world comes from Magna Carta, so I have to disagree. I don't know what's the disagreement here about, but yes, I've served in the army. So anyway, I think we should start talking about Sudan now. Yeah, no, just Britain is not the same. And I think you can fight back, like you fundamentally can fight back. All right, let me see. The British identity history is being erased, but it's there. It's real. It's there and it's real. So fight for it. Yes. All right. Ready? It literally says ready here. So ready? Let's start. Let me tell me that you can hear it properly.
מוכנים? קבלו הצצה נדירה למה שהולך להטריד אתכם בתוך שנה מהיום.
Like, ready? Check out what's gonna bother you a year from now.
المسيرات الإيرانية باتت حاضرة وسط المعارك في السودان.
אני יודע מה אתם אומרים עכשיו. השתגעת רועי?
I'm sorry,
אני
I'm
יודע
gonna
מה...
go back a
الإيرانية
little
باتت
bit.
حاضرة
בתוך שנה מהיום.
المسيرات الإيرانية باتت حاضرة وسط المعارك في السودان.
אני יודע מה...
The Iranian drones are now being used in the war in Sudan.
אתם אומרים עכשיו? השתגעת רועי? מכל הנושאים בעולם...
It's like, I know what you're thinking now. Out of all the subject, his name is Oi, but like, I know what you're thinking. Like, did you go crazy, Oi? That's him. Out of all the subjects in the world,
אתה מדבר איתנו עכשיו על
why are you
סודן?
talking about
והתשובה
Sudan?
שלי לגמרי כן.
And my answer
בזמן
is
שאנחנו...
yes. Because while we are busy with several fronts in parallel.
אנחנו עסוקים בכמה חזיתות במקביל, ציר הרשע כבר עובד על המנה הבאה.
أعلن وزير الخارجية
The evil axis is already working on the next serving.
الإيراني أن
Oh, by the
السودان
way, where's the... I thought here.
وإيران
Okay, perfect.
سيعيدان فتح سفارتي
But then I
البلدين
cannot
في العاصمتين قريبا.
אבל רגע, איך הגענו מהמצב הזה של כמעט נורמליזציה היסטורית
Actually,
בין
I
ישראל...
wanted to go
אבל
back.
רגע, איך
قريبا أن السودان
המנה
Yeah,
הבאה?
okay.
أعلن وزير الخارجية الإيراني أن السودان
Yeah, but it's not gonna Oh, it's so complicated. It's not gonna translate the Arabic, only the Hebrew.
הבאה.
أعلن وزير الخارجية الإيراني أن السودان وإيران سيعيدان فتح سفارتي البلدين في
It's interesting, like this is, so the Sudanese Arabic is super Arabish. Like it's super easy to understand too. Anyway, Iran and Sudan are having new embassies or something. Oh, they're gonna reopen their embassies.
في العاصمتين قريبا.
אבל רגע, איך הגענו מהמצב הזה של כמעט נורמליזציה היסטורית בין ישראל לסודן לפני 4 שנים, למצב שבו סודן חוזרת לחיקה של איראן? בואו איתי
So it's gonna... So how did we get there from the situation where we were almost normalizing our relations with Sudan 4 years ago to now, where it seems like Sudan is going back to the Iranian embrace. And there's like, let's dive into the darkness. But I mean, the language here is awesome. And I wanna Sudanese. Are there Sudanese pirates? I'm pretty sure. Wait, Sudan. I have a map here. So this is Sudan. Yeah. Are they gonna use the pirates here? Actually, that's a good spot. That's a good spot to have pirates. Anyway, I have a reason. I mean, it's not that I want to blame, but like one of the factors that made that drastic change in the last 4 years is the 4 years ago it was Trump and now it's Biden. I don't know why. I have a feeling that it has something to do with it as well, right? Of course, there are other factors, but this one is a good one. This one is also one of them. Oh, wait, you're saying my audio? Wait, saturates real fast. Do I need to... Is it better now? Somebody said that the sound has a lot of gain. Is it better now? I lowered it, I think. Or did I make it worse? I'm waiting for your confirmation. Okay, people, audio is great. Awesome. Thank you.
מסע ללב האפלה. רשת הקשרים שהאייתולות בטהרן לא מפסיקים לרגע לטוות סביבנו. בואו איתי לביקור בטכנודרום של טהרן.
Let's go and to the Iranian war room. It's not how he said it, but basically it's the same thing. All right, I added.
באליפות העולם בזיהוי הזדמנויות אין ספק שמשטר האייתולות לוקח את המקום הראשון. בטהרן יודעים לזהות לפני כולם מדינות וישויות מוחלשות וממהרים לשפוך עליהן טילים בליסטיים ואמל"ח מכל הבא ליד. אז
I don't know if the translation is good enough, to be honest. Anyway, Iran is expert at finding opportunities and countries that they can recruit to their needs, and they throw weaponry and ammunition on them. For example, you have Gaza here,
לבנון, סוריה,
Lebanon,
עיראק,
Syria,
תימן,
Iraq,
מקומות
Yemen,
שהעולם שכח, ועכשיו
places
הם
that the
יכולים
world
לאיים על
had
כל המזרח
forgotten,
התיכון.
but now they can threaten the whole of the Middle East.
كل عالم إذا يجيئون من الغرب والشرق السني والمسيحي واليهود وكلهم ما يستطيعون يمنع النصر.
כאן בדיוק
المسيح
במזרח התיכון.
كل العالم إذا يجيئون من الغرب.
Why is he speaking Arabic? This is Qasem Soleimani. I felt like he should be speaking Persian.
במזרח התיכון.
كل العالم إذا يجيئون من الغرب لشرق السنة.
They're talking about getting to the whole world. Wait. Oh, even if the whole world will
كل العالم
come
إذا يجيئون من الغرب
from
لشرق
the
السنة.
west and
المسيح
the east,
يمنع.
the Sunni, he names all their enemies, like the Sunna are the opposing faction in Islam to the Shia, which are the Iranians. Iranians are the Shiites, the Christians, the Jews, all of them. So even if all of us attack together,
كلهم ما يستطيعون يمنع النصر.
we cannot stop Iran from winning. We cannot stop the victory that Iran is anticipating for.
כאן בדיוק מגיע התור של סודאן. מדינה ענייה בקצה המדבר של אפריקה, מקום שכוח אל, אבל בשביל האיראנים זה יהלום בלתי מלוטש.
You guys, can you hear all right? Is the sound okay? Is the sound all right? Yeah, so anyways, so they are going to a place like Sudan, the place that is a hellhole, basically. I mean, a place that everybody forgot about, but for the Iranians, it's like an unpolished gem.
מיקום אסטרטגי לחופי הים האדום שהדבר הכי טוב בו הוא קרבתו לכל המקומות שהאיראנים רוצים לאיים עליהם, מסעודיה.
Yeah, so they have a strategic location. Sudan has a strategic location. They have an exit to the Red Sea, and they are perfectly located to threaten Israel and Saudi, the enemies of Iran. See, super nicely located. You have Jeddah here, Medina here, and Sudan. This is the coast of Sudan here. Oh, sorry, I'm hiding it. I'm sorry. Relocating Sudan, coast, Red Sea, and this is Saudi Arabia and Israel. Places that Iran is very interested in threatening.
סעודיה ועד ישראל. והאיראנים בהחלט על זה. כבר בעשור הראשון של שנות ה-2000 התחלנו לשמוע על תקיפות ישראליות, לפי פרסומים זרים, נגד משלוחי נשק בחרטום.
كل الدلائل
Here, back in the 2000s, we started hearing about Israeli attacks on weapon supplies that are being shipped to Khartoum, to Sudan. According to foreign publication, foreign press, foreign media. So like say all the evidence shows that Israel is responsible to this. So Israel already in the 2000s, and that was from 2012, Israel was already making sure that some shipments would not reach Sudan from Iran.
בציר הברחות הנשק לחמאס ושות' בחסות שיתוף הפעולה הפורה בין המשטר האיראני הברחות
إسرائيل في هذا العمل.
באותם ימים סודאן הייתה תחנה מרכזית בציר
During those days, Sudan was a main station when it comes to smuggling weapons from to the Hamas and similar organizations.
הברחות הנשק לחמאס ושות' בחסות שיתוף הפעולה הפורה בין המשטר האיראני לרודן הסודני עומר אל-בשיר. אלא שאי שם ב-2005
So there was a lot of love between the regimes, the dictatorships of Iran and Sudan. But then in 2015 it changed.
חלה תפנית מפתיעה. הסודנים התחילו להפנות עורף לאיראנים ואפילו חיברו איתם את הקשר. זה קרה בזכות סעודיה שהצליחה למשוך.
And even stopped the communications with them. And it happened thanks to Saudi that managed to pull Iran to their own camp.
למשוך את סודן למחנה שלה נגד הציר האיראני, באמצעות הרבה מאוד כסף כמובן.
With a lot of money, obviously.
ואז,
An American lobby.
בספטמבר 2020, הגיע הדובדבן שבקצפת.
אנחנו מכריזים היום על עוד...
And then in September 2020, we're getting the cherry on top.
צעד דרך דרמטית לשלום, עוד מדינה ערבית.
We are announcing another breakthrough in our peace talks, another Arab country that is joining the circle of peace.
שמצטרפת למעגל השלום, והפעם נורמליזציה בין ישראל וסודן.
סודן,
Normalization between
המדינה
Sudan and
ששמה
Israel.
רשום על הסיסמה המפורסמת של מדינות ערב, לא להכרה, לא למשא ומתן ולא לשלום עם ישראל, אומרת לה כן.
סודן.
So back in, I think back in 67, after the Six-Day War, if I'm not mistaken, there was a meeting between of the Arab League in Sudan. And it's super famous because out of there, the announcement, the famous 3 no's were announced. So this is a very famous declaration. Actually, let me search it up. 3 no's. Oh, it says the 3 no's of Khartoum. I think, yes. Then 1967 Arab League. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna move myself here. And here. The 1967 Arab League Summit was held on August 29th in Khartoum as the 4th Arab League Summit in the aftermath of the Arab defeat by Israel in the Six-Day War, and is famous for the Khartoum resolution known as the 3 no's. No peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, no negotiations with Israel. Here, now I'm gonna move myself back.
סודן, המדינה ששמה רשום על הסיסמה המפורסמת של מדינות ערב, לא להכרה, לא למשא ומתן ולא לשלום עם ישראל, אומרת לה כן.
Suddenly they say yes. Israel is like every other country and we can have normalization with it. But ever since there was a lot of waters that were flowing in the Sudanese Nile.
מאז עברו הרבה מים בנילוס הסודני, ואחרי כל ההכרזות היפות, נורמליזציה אמיתית לא הגיעה. מה
And
שכן...
even though there were so many nice announcements, the normalization never came. But what did come was a bloody and general bloodbath, bloody war.
הגיע, זה מלחמת גנרלים עקובה מדם, בין השליט הצבאי אל-בוראן, שדחף ליחסים עם ישראל,
between the military commander Al-Buran that was pushing for relations with Israel,
צבאי אל-בוראן, שדחף ליחסים עם ישראל, לבין סגנו מוחמד דקלו.
and his second in command, yes, and his second in command Muhammad Daklo that decided to rebel against him.
שהחליט למרוד בו, או כמו שקוראים לזה במזרח התיכון, עוד יום רגיל בשכונה.
Or like we call it in the Middle East, just another day in the neighborhood.
على الانتصارات العظيمة التي حققوها في ميادين القتال.
We're thankful for our brave heroes.
على الانتصارات العظيمة التي حققوها.
Okay. I don't know. We're thanking, we're grateful. Anyway, they are celebrating the great achievements that their heroes of this is the Muhammad Daklo. He was is the leader of the rebel militia RSF. He talks about his achievements in war.
حققوها في ميادين القتال.
نحن لن نتراجع ولن نستسلم.
המלחמה הזאת שמשתוללת עד היום הפכה לשדה קרב מזרח תיכוני קלאסי. אינטרסים מנוגדים, מעצמות שבוחשות
And this is how Sudan looked like a classical. And then you get another classical Middle Eastern scene. You have interests that do not align, foreign powers that are mixing up the pot,
והמוני אזרחים שמשלמים את המחיר.
and a lot of civilians that pay the price.
בורהאן פנה גם אלינו, קשב שלנו לא היה אז מסודאן, ואז הוא יצא בהצהרה שהם מוכנים לקנות נשק ותחמושת מכל מי שמוכן למכור להם, אפילו הצתם גם אלינו.
Here, that's interesting actually.
פשוט, והמוני אזרחים שמשלמים את המחיר.
בורהאן
Burhan, okay, he says, this is the first ambassador of Israel to South Sudan. So he says Burhan came to us as well.
גם אלינו, קשב שלנו
And
לא
back
היה
then
אז
we didn't have the attention span to address Sudan.
מסודאן, ואז הוא יצא
So he
בהצהרה
came out with a declaration that they are willing to buy ammunition and weapons from everyone, even the devil itself.
נשק ותחמושת מכל מי שמוכן למכור להם, אפילו הצתם עצמו.
מה עושה ישראל? בעיקר לא יודעת כל כך מה לעשות. מצד אחד מתחזקים את היחסים עם השליט אל-בורהאן,
So what does Israel does? Mostly doesn't know what to do. On one hand, we still have our relations with the commander that was working on the normalization with Israel, Al-Burhan.
שקידם את הנורמליזציה עם ישראל. מצד שני מפלרטטים גם עם סגנו,
On the other hand, we are also flirting with his second in command that went wild.
וזה כמובן לא כל כך מוצא חן בעיני שליט סודן. אבל בזמן שישראל
And that is, of course, it is not something that the leader of Sudan likes. But while Israel is mumbling and stumbling,
גמד ועסוקה במלחמות משלה, האיראנים מזהים הזדמנות חדשה בג'ונגל.
السودان لها بلد إسلامي كبير ولها مكانة هامة في سياسة الخارجية الجمهورية الإسلامية الإيرانية.
אתם חושבים שזה...
Yeah, that's okay. Iran saw this opportunity, and that was the ambassador of Iran saying that Sudan has a very important strategic importance for Iran.
שזה נגמר רק בזה, בחודשים האחרונים איראן מחמשת עד העצם את השליט הצבאי אל-בורהאן. כטב"מים, זה גולת הכותרת.
And in the last several months, they've been sending a lot of ammunition and weapons and drones to Sudan. Yeah.
بإزاء إقفال كل الأبواب في وجه السودان بحث في دفاتره القديمة ووجد إيران.
It says like since all the options were closed up for Sudan, they were looking at they opened up their old notebooks and they found Iran.
אתם כבר יודעים לאן זה הולך. מה שמתחיל בכטב"מים במתנה מאיראן, ממש לא נגמר שם. בטהרן...
And you already know where it's gonna go. People, like when it starts with getting drones as presents from Iran, it's not gonna stop there. In Tehran, there is no such thing as a free gift.
אין כזה דבר מתנות חינם. אם המרחק מתימן לאילת הוא בערך 1,600 קילומטר, המרחק בין הקצה של סודן לתל אביב הוא בקושי 1,100. אתם מבינים לאן אני חותר.
الوجود الإيراني في منطقة
And it's talking about the threat to Israel of them being even closer than Yemen is.
البحر الأحمر يعني يمثل تهديد كبير جدا للأمن الإقليمي الدولي وتهديد أيضا يعني مباشر للتجارة العالمية.
And of course they can threat the world trade on the Red Sea.
איראנים לקח פחות מ-40 שנה להפוך את חיזבאללה למפלצת שהוא עכשיו. פחות מ-20 שנה כדי להפוך את חיזבאללה.
It took the Iranians less than 40 years to turn Hezbollah to the monster they are now.
למפלצת שהוא עכשיו. פחות מ-20 שנה.
Less than 20 years to turn Hamas to the monsters that they are now.
כדי להפוך את חמאס למכונת מוות. פחות מעשור כדי להפוך את החות'ים בתימן.
Less than 10 years to turn the Houthis in Yemen to the timed bomb of the Middle East.
צה מתקתקת של המזרח התיכון. כמו שלמדנו מאז השביעי לעשירי, בשכונה שלנו מאוד לא כדאי למצמץ. אחרת, אפשר לפגוש.
No, like we learned on October 7th, we cannot even blink in our neighborhood that we live in. Otherwise, we're gonna see a drone very close up.
כטב"ם מול העיניים.
Yeah, ticking time bomb. Thank you. I don't know. It's hard to translate on the go. Ticking time bomb. Anyway, you get the gist. So that's interesting. But I also actually want to talk about something a little bit different. How you guys doing? UAE supports RSF and Iran supports Sudan's defense forces. Google images of I know Socotra Islands. I know how it looks like. Now that I'm here, yes, I'm waiting. Shout out to MBS. I'm busy. Oh, good, good, good. Feeling good. Yeah, I like the videos. This video is pretty good. The Nubis girl, aren't we supposed to have peace with Sudan? Which one of them? Sudan is a very problematic place in general. Let's see. I want to, oh no, don't do that. 1 sec. Evil. This is interesting. Yes, there is famine. I just want to show you like the see, like if you look for Sudan news, there is nothing good coming from there. So it's really hard to have peace with that kind of a country. Here, so you have 8 struggles to reach survivors as okay. This is them collapsed. Sudan army chief criticized Geneva talks, vows to continue fighting RSF. Peace talks at Swiss beckoned. Sudan divided, generals wouldn't go. Sudan peace talks. Macklemore says that he canceled Dubai show over UAE's purported role in ongoing genocide and humanitarian crisis in Sudan. What? What's wrong with this dude? Oh, just I don't wanna. I'll fix. Okay, good. Can fix it next time. Macklemore says Rapper Macklemore says he cancelled upcoming concert in Dubai because of the United Arab Emirates' role in the ongoing genocide and humanitarian crisis in Sudan. He cited the UAE's reported support for a parliamentary force. Let me see. Yeah, Sudan's raging civil war could see 2 million starve to death. Aid agency says the world is not watching. Yeah, nobody's watching that. When was it? June 25th, not that long ago. So let's understand Sudan. Let me see. Over 150K dead only in the last year. Yeah, Macklemore is an anti-Zionist. This is why it's funny. Like, this is why I wanna see what he has to say about it. Yeah. A civil war has raged in Sudan for more than a year after simmering tensions between the country's military and paramilitary leaders boiled over, and fighting broke out in the capital Khartoum before spreading to other regions, including Darfur. Estimates suggest over 18,800 people have been killed since then, while over 10 million have fled their homes and hundreds of thousands are on the brink of famine. The International Rescue Committee and aid agency issued a crisis alert earlier this summer for the war-torn country, warning that a risk of famine was looming, while the lack of political solution left Sudan on the brink of a catastrophe of historic scale. CBS News spoke to several humanitarian groups at the time that said 2 million people could die of hunger-related causes in the situation in Sudan if the situation in Sudan did not improve and no additional humanitarian aid entered the country. At the contentious UN Security Council meeting in June, Sudan's embattled government directly accused the UAE of arming the RSF, and an Emirati diplomat angrily told his counterpart to stop grandstanding. What's grandstanding? The UAE has been part of ongoing peace talks to end the fighting. The Emirati foreign minister offered no immediate comment on Makemel's public statement on Sunday, nor did the city's state Dubai media office. Organizers last week announced the show had been cancelled and refunds will be issued without offering an explanation for the cancellation. In a post Saturday on Instagram, Macklemore said he had a series of people asking me to cancel the show in solidarity with the people of Sudan and to boycott doing business with the UAE for the role they are playing in the ongoing genocide and humanitarian crisis. The Grammy winner said that he decided to cancel the planned show in Dubai, which was scheduled for October and would not perform until UAE stops arming and funding the RSF. Let's see, one sec. Let me see. Russia is channeling money through the Middle East and funding both sides of the war in Sudan. Well, you want to have sure that you have access to the winning horse, don't you? I see. Oh, thank you. I see. Carlos, let's scout one bad habit and support Rebecca. Thank you so much for this super chat, Carlos. And Garrett and Carissa, here's to ending bad habits. It's been a while since being able to catch one live. Enjoy a coffee. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. Anyway, yeah, you have to have a win. You have to make sure you're gonna get the winning horse. So the best way to do it is to have both sides, of course. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. I know that this will probably jeopardize my future shows in the area, and I truly hate letting any of my fans down, his post continued. I was really excited to, but until the UAE stops arming and fighting RSF, I will not perform there. Macklemore said he reconsidered the show in part over his recent public support of Palestinians amid the ongoing Israel-Hamas war raging in the Gaza Strip. He recently has begun performing a song called Heinz Hall in honor of a young girl named Hind Rajab killed in Gaza, a shooting. Palestinians have blamed on Israel forces opening fire on civilian car. I mean, they blame us for everything, even if they do the shooting. So I know that this will probably jeopardize my future. He added, I have no judgment against other artists. The RSF was formed out of the Janjaweed under the Sudanese president Omar al-Bashir, who ruled the country for 3 decades before being overthrown during a popular uprising in 2019. He is wanted by International Criminal Court on charges of genocide and other crimes during the conflict in Darfur in the 2000s. I wonder. Let's see. I want to see more information. I actually planned to talking about something else. I kind of feel like I want to make a different live about the other subject I wanted to talk about you all, because this one is really cool. So we currently have 7 million kids in malnutrition, with all schools closed and more than 70% of the hospitals closed. Youssef told CBS News, adding that his biggest overriding concern is the collapse of the country into a civil war. Famine. No reliable death toll in the conflict is available, but it is widely thought that tens of thousands of people have been killed. Electricity, health, and telecommunication infrastructure has largely been destroyed, and the government has been forced to move out of the capital, Khartoum, of the coastal port, Sudan. Okay, I want to go to this. The war in Sudan, 2023. Still ongoing. All right. So you have the... Okay, so this is the pink. Oh, I need to move it again. The pink is controlled by the Sudanese armed forces, and this is controlled by the RSF. And there are more groups. Strength 300,000, government of Sudan 100,000, and casualties and losses between 15. Look at those estimates. That's insane. All right. Background. Sudan has been inhabited since prehistory, many conflicts, ethnic tensions. Sudan was conquered by Egypt in 1821, and in Islamic and National Mahdi State, which is the territory of modern Sudan. After Ahmed's death, British Egyptian force, in 1899, the country became a condominium of Egypt and the United Kingdom. This is insane. 2 civil wars, the first from 55 to 72, the second 83 and 2. Actually, this is what I wanted to talk about, this civil war as well. But guess I'm gonna... Let's see how we're doing. Yokalunk would remain. Sudan has experienced more than 90 military coup attempts, the most of any African nation. Sudan has been usually ruled by the military, interpreted with short periods of democratic parliamentary rule. I have 2 civil wars. Now it's the third, I guess, between the central government and southern regions. And you get this independence, which led to the independence of South Sudan in 2011, killed 1.5 million people, and conflicts on the western region of Darfur displaced 2 million people and killed more than 200,000 others. I just, by the turn of the Sudan Western region, it's crazy, like, but they don't make it clear enough. Like, I know, roughly speaking, that when it comes to South Sudan, this is the Christians that were mostly being slaughtered by the Muslims. But they don't, like, they should make it easy for us to read. Why not just give the bottom line where, who were the main ethnic and religious segments or groups or whatever. By the turn of the 21st, Western Darfur region had endured prolonged instability and social strife due to a combination of racial and ethnic tension and disputes over land and water. In 2003, the situation erupted into full-scale rebellion against the government rule, which President and military strongman Omar al-Bashir vowed to use forceful action. The resulting war in Darfur was marked in widespread state-support acts of violence, leading to a charge of war crimes and genocide against al-Bashir. The initial phase of the war conflict left approximately 300,000 dead and 2.7 million were forcibly displaced. Even though the intensity of the violence later declined, the situation in the region remained far from peaceful. To crush uprising by non-Arab tribes in the Nuba Mountains, al-Bashir relied upon Janjaweed, a collection of Arab militias which was drawn from camel trading tribes which were active in the Darfur portion of Chad. In 2013, trading tribes were active in Darfur. Here. In 2013, al-Bashir announced that the Janjaweed would be reorganized. Al-Bashir relied upon the... So the RSF is the reorganized Arab militias, known as Janjaweed. And we are as the... Amazing. The RSF, well, that makes sense then that the RSF were the ones that were against the normalization with Israel. But now they're being, well, I guess they're being supported by their Arab brothers in the UAE. It's pretty complicated. I mean, they are still Arabs, so I guess it makes sense for Arabs to support other Arabs. And just this, and it's crazy to try to understand what's going on. Oh, that's interesting. But the person implicated. In 2017, a new law gave us a state of independent security first, and they received several gold mines in Darfur as patronage from al-Bashir and his personal wealth grows. Bashir sent RSF forces to quash 2013 uprising in South Darfur and deployed RSF units to fight in Yemen and Libya. These developments ensured that the RSF forces grew into tens and thousands and came to possess thousands of armed pickup trucks which regularly patrolled the Strait of Khartoum. The Bashir regime allowed the RSF and other armed groups to proliferate and prevent threats to the security within the armed forces, a practice known as coup-proofing. Okay, so you have ethnics, you have religion, and you have just basically different kind of mafias fighting each other. And funnily enough, a very strategic geographical location, which makes it even more complicated because I guess Iran wants this area so they would have a better leverage to threatening the Sunni side of the Middle East, and the Arabs want to have leverage in the area so there wouldn't be a threat on them. Basically, bottom line. Yes. It's amazing with places like that, like everybody's evil. Yeah, I see why RSF, their problem, like the Arabs, what they did in Sudan, the Arab forces, the things that were, they took slaves, they did awful things. But I'm sure I'm sure the proper Sudanese government is not that amazing either. Since it's so difficult when you have something like that. Jax, show Rebecca some love by supporting her in all the ways that you're able to. Thank you so much, Jax, for your support. Yeah. So I have a lot of technical, sexual, I don't want to get into it. Casualties, attacks on journalists, foreign casualties. Foreign involvement. Oh, that's interesting. Egypt. On 16th, the RSF claimed that its troops in Port Sudan were attacked by foreign aircraft and issued a warning against any foreign interference. According to former CIA analyst Cameron Hudson, Egyptian fighter jets were part of these bombing campaigns against the RSF, and Egyptian Special Forces units have been deployed and are providing intelligence and technical support to the SAF. The Wall Street Journal said that Egypt had sent a fighter. After initial confusion, the RSF accepted the explanation that Egyptian combat and support personnel were conducting exercises with the Sudanese military prior to the outbreak of hostilities. Oh, so complicated. Egyptian on April 15th, RSF forces claimed via Twitter to have taken Egyptian troops prisoner near. All right, why? I mean, okay, so if the RSF basically represents the genocide Arab forces of the previous wars, and Egypt did suffer a lot from having all those refugees come to Egypt later on. So, okay, so I get this, the Egyptian involvement. Of appropriate opportunity arose. 100 captured troops were released. I guess, okay. United Arab, a report published in the Wall Street Journal quoted Ugandan officials saying that the Emirati plane on the stopover in Entebbe on the road to Amajares International in Israel turned out upon inspection to have been carrying dozens of green plastic crates and the plane's cargo hold filled with ammunition, assault rifles, and other small arms, rather than food and other aid officially listed in the aircraft manifest supposedly meant for the Sudanese refugees. Despite this discovery, the plane was allowed to take off, and the officials said that they received orders from their superiors not to inspect any more planes from the UAE. Prior to this, the UAE has long been accused of supporting the RSF. The UAE Foreign Ministry subsequently denied the allegations, saying that the country does not take sides in the conflict. I mean, Russia. I'm gonna skip and go back because I kinda. So you have Russia for much of the Sudanese civil war. Russia generally neutral stand, not clear backing either RSF or SAF. Okay. Lovely. So you have the UAE here. All right. So I was looking for Iran, but here's Iran. Iran. On June 2024, investigation found evidence the involvement of Iran and the UAE in violating the UN arms embargo, providing drones to the Sudanese conflict. In March 2024, the video evidence shows that Sudanese soldiers recaptured the state broadcaster's headquarters in Khartoum with the assistance of Iranian-made drones. A drone expert. Okay. Evidence also revealed the use of quadcopter drones by the RSF, which Brian Kessa claimed belonged to the UAE. Okay, so you have two countries that having a proxy war inside of Sudan. Because if Iran, like you said, if he is willing to work with the devil, the moment that Iran was the devil that picked up the glove, then it puts the Emirates and the Saudis in a tough spot where they can, because that's a threat to them. But to me, it's interesting that it's the UAE and not Saudi that everybody's talking about. Where is Saudi? Like, where is Saudi Arabia? That's the part that I'm confused about. Kenya, Chad, Wagner Group. Is there no Saudi? Saudi. Okay, on the 6th, delegation SF met directly the first time in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for what was described by Saudi Arabia and the United States as a pre-negotiation talks after diplomatic lobbying from Saudis and Americans. The warring sides signed the Treaty of Jeddah on May 20th, vying to ensure the safe passage of civilians. And then the agreement did not include ceasefire, and clashes resumed in Jenin, causing more casualties. Okay, I guess after that they have refused to meet up. Diplomatic ceasefire between the warring was announced, but often violated, leading further clashes. The SAF and RSF engaged in mutual blame for incidents, while Sudanese government took action against international envoys. The Saudi embassy in Khartoum was attacked, and evacuation from the orphanage was carried out amid chaos. It's like I feel like so obviously Saudi is somehow involved. Access by licensed 3 foreign media: UAE, Sky News Arabia, Saudi-based Al Arabiya and Al Hada. The intermediate telecommunication and internet since the beginning of the conflict, like particularly total blackout in February, limited reporting. The RSF reportedly selling access to Starlink to get around the blackout, which allegedly allows them to track journalists. In April 2024, the government suspended the license of 3 foreign media outlets, UAE-based, Saudi-based, and Al-Hada. Okay, so while the editor had now closed, Sudari said that 23 print outlets were shut down. All right. Port of Jeddah. The report's RSF Facebook page was being run jointly from the UAE and Sudan. An Instagram account appears to be based in Saudi Arabia, with the RSF saying its media team was based in Khartoum. Okay. Iran are okay, pretty simple. I wonder. Okay. Well. Don't say Saudi Arabia. Does it matter if I say Saudi or Saudi Arabia? All right, let me go through the chat for a moment. Very simple. Let's see. Processed uranium and plutonium, and there is no need for yeah. Yeah. Sudan is very rich. It's interesting. RSF are realistic now and fought against Houthis in Yemen. Interesting. I want to see Sudan ethnicities. Ethnic groups. Oof, oof. It's very. Why is it? It's PDF. Might have gotten that's and so on. Okay, so you have. Okay, this is ethnic. I see ethnic. Let's say religious. I don't know how to write religious. Huh? No, this is South Sudan. Islam. Okay, this is the former United. All right, Semitic groups. So the green is Arabs. I mean, they're not Arabs. Some of them are like, but like I don't know. Are they Arabs? I guess they are. Okay, they just Islam. And then indigenous faith, Christianity. And I guess this is Sahara Desert. Okay, so this is South Sudan in the bottom, which had split. Arabic, Arabs. Mm. So it doesn't look that to me. I guess but you have the same green for different. I guess it's different. But okay, but it doesn't. So I guess it's all the same Islam there. If it comes to demographics. Let's open. I don't like the US Department of State reports. They're so skewed. But whatever. The US government estimates a total population of 48. 91% Muslims. That doesn't say anything. Religious and democracy. Here, almost all Muslims in the country identify as Sunni, although there are significant distinctions among followers of different Sunni traditions, particularly among Sufi orders. Small Shia Muslim communities are based predominantly in Khartoum. At least one Jewish family remains in the Khartoum area. There is a small Baha'i. Interesting. What? Yeah, the chat is wild. I just pressed on something by mistake. I'm sorry. Wow, you guys are very angry with each other, huh? Are Sunnis even persecuted in Shia? Yes, yes, they are. So the Sunnis, do you know Sarah Idan? She was a former Miss Iraq, and she had to escape because she had a selfie within the Israeli candidate, and her family is Sunni Muslim, and she said that their long term. I need to find it, actually. It's unrelated, but let me find it. Sarah Idan, Sunni Shia. Like her story is crazy. Iraq. I mean, I hope I find it. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna search for it. Okay, you can enjoy her Instagram in the meantime. It's like, when was it? I don't know if it's gonna, maybe this one, no. Oh. A mass press US camp. My childhood best friend contracted me on Instagram, but I never responded. This is Hamad. Okay, no, not this. Is that? Where's the story? I think, okay, that's the story.
In Iraq, I grew up with this girl and her brother. She was like a sister to me. We used to play hide and seek, play.
I wish, can I go back just a little bit? Why is there no, whatever. I hope you guys can hear.
Soccer, all of us. If you know anything about neighbors in the Middle East, it's very different than here. Your neighbors are like your family. And we basically grew up together until I was 13 in 2003 when the US came in, and my family had a death threat because we were Sunni minority living in a Shia majority neighborhood. So we had to go to Syria, and some strange family came and took our home. This is when a leader who goes by the name Muqtada Sadr, he was a Shia extremist and targeted Sunni families. And the majority of his militia were young people. So when my family returned from Syria, we couldn't go back to Baghdad. We had to go to Babylon, where all of my tribe is stationed. And then my mom went by herself to Baghdad, and I went with her because only women at the time were not being targeted. This is during the end of the Civil War. My mom went there to negotiate.
By the way, the story that she's telling is very similar to if you hear Gad Saad, the way he talks about different factions and things like that.
Our return, and we ended up at the house of my friend. Why? Because her brother was a senior leader in Muqtada Sadr's militia. And after I hugged her and we were crying and, just expressing how much we missed each other, she was bragging about her brother being a leader in what he has done during the years that I have left. She took me to his room, and I still remember holding his sword, and it had dried blood on it. I looked at her and I said, "What is this?" And she said, "This is the blood of terrorists, all these terrorist Sunnis that my brother killed." Of course, she was referring to innocent civilians in their home being slaughtered in their sleep. I will never forget this. So a kid who was 14 got to murder entire families and became a senior leader by the age of 17. Now, how can I teach my experience to all those non-Arab, non-Muslim students trying to protect Hamas and call them freedom fighters, defending an ideology that led to the death of millions of people in the Middle East, millions of Muslims, millions of non-Muslims? How do you get to explain to them? They will never understand why I have loyalty to the US and why I love the US so much, because they were born privileged. They never got to live without protection. They never got to live under radical Islam. For me, the US have saved me. I was a lucky one. All those Marxists pretending that they stand for freedom and they're against oppression, they are helping the oppressors. They claim that the US and Israel are genociders and are killers. Do you know who have killed the highest number of Muslims in the Middle East? Muslims themselves. But they deny this fact. They're in denial. Who is Muqtada Sadr? Who is Abu Mus'ab al-Zarqawi? Who is Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi? Who is the Iranian regime? Who is Hezbollah? Who is ISIS? Who is Al-Qaeda? Are they Zionists? Are they Jewish? Or are they Muslims? How can I summarize my life story in few words so you can understand where I come from? I'm not a journalist. I'm not an influencer. I'm a human rights activist because I know what I know. And I fear that the future of this country will be a dark one because inexperienced young people are being persuaded to push an agenda of radical Islamists and to believe and buy their ideology. Even if the US government and Israel were saints, those people will continue to murder everyone who will not bow down to them. So this is why I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing and trying to educate those who are willing to listen. But I will not waste a minute trying to justify anything to the people who did not experience what I have experienced. And shame on you for supporting and participating in making the jihadist dream become a reality.
What is this music in the beginning? It's awful. Sorry guys. Somebody asked if I'm wearing makeup. I'm not wearing makeup, but I feel like I have like some black leftovers under my eye here. Sorry for the which is kind of okay. Oh, this is Sarah Idan. Sarah Idan, and she's a former Miss Iraq. Sarah Idan. Here. Okay, so I actually planned to talk less about Sudan and go to South Sudan because I feel like it's also I have super interesting stories from there. But as we were doing that, I was like, you know what? Even though you're gonna see me studying live, I don't want to go. I didn't want to go jump to South Sudan after that. I was feeling like, you know what? I want to take time and learn more about Sudan. In my head, I was like, Sudan. But then I went inside of it anyway. It was like, I want to understand. But in the end, it was like, yeah, it's just everybody is evil and that's it. And mafia fighting mafia, and that's the thing. South Sudan is close ally of Israel, surprisingly enough. No, it's not surprising. There is a very good reason why South Sudan is an ally of Israel, and it's an incredible story that I really want to share. So I think I'll do it next week instead of now, because I ended up diving into Sudan itself. But yeah, I actually prepared more things. Like, I have a lot of things open, or like that I wanted to talk about, but all right. Somebody said, huh? You guys, your conversation in the chat is it's pretty weird. I can't even follow. I have antlers. Have you heard of the killing of Afghani YouTuber Hora Sadat? I only heard she was killed. I know nothing about it. Didn't Israel send military advisors to South? Yes, and it's a crazy story. Hello. Thank you. This is interesting about Sarah. Her story is interesting. Like, she had to become a refugee because here, like, Sarah Idan, Iraqi model. I'm gonna open her Wikipedia so I can show you her story. Sorry. Okay. So, Sarah Idan, Iraqi American model, television host, and beauty pageant title holder, a politician, represented Iraq in Miss Universe 2017. Okay, raised in Baghdad. When she was 13, Sarah taught herself English. Oh, that's interesting. But this is not what I'm. Career, music, beauty pageant, and controversies. Right. She is the first Iraqi model to participate in the Miss Universe pageant in 45 years. However, after taking selfies with Adal and Gendelsman, who participated as Miss Israel at Miss Universe 2017, and for wearing bikini in a swimsuit competition, she angered many Iraqis who are often conservative Sunni or Shia Muslims, and she later received death threats. Eventually, Idan was forced to flee Iraq with her family. She immigrated to the United States in December 2017. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's her story. Oh, in previous streams you had antlers because of the picture behind you. Oh, so the swans, because of the swans, it looks like antlers? Or was it because of like a different kind of angle that made me look like I have antlers? Yeah. All right, chat. Think we can finish up for now. I'm gonna have another live stream about South Sudan. People, swans look like antlers, do not look like antlers. Did I? No, that's a mosaic. So it's glass. It's made out of glass. It's not painted. Rebecca, top 3 anime, tell us. Oh my, I don't really have a top 3. Like, I don't do it like that. I don't know. Which ones do I like? My mom made it. I don't have one. I don't have a 3. I just watch things that are fun randomly. I liked Freeran. I made a video about it. I like Ascendance of a Bookworm, the light novels especially. I like isekai crap, which is fun. Yeah. Well, okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.